Good afternoon and welcome to Let's Talk About Diversity, Suki's live talk show. And now please welcome your hosts, Christine Kleist and Shashvat Soni.
Woo. Hello, guys. Welcome to another one of Suki's edition to Let's Talk About. This afternoon, we're going to be talking about diversity. Today, we are broadcasting live in the Shinya building here at Confederation College in Thunder Bay, and we are live on camptv.ca. We have some great guests with excellent information to give to you guys, and I'll be your host, Christine Kleist, alongside.
Hello guys, my name is Shashvat Soni and we want to involve our audience with us. So if you have any questions, you can write your questions and we have a little box over there you can on this side and you can put your questions there and we'll try to answer your questions at the end of the show. And at the audience who are live at Pound, you can Twitter your questions at pounds WAGNUFF said. So thank you and welcome.
We are here today to talk about a huge topic, diversity. This week marks the United Nations International Day for Elimination of Racial Discrimination. And so in that spirit, we are bringing you some awesome guests. Local musician Sean Jesso, Anishinaabe Elder Dolores Wawe, and two of our international students will be here to talk to you guys. So we'll get a big diverse for you guys. So let's get started.
Our first gate walks between teacher, artist, performer, and business owner. Cian entered the workforce as a paid stage actor playing this scarecrow at the Wizard of Oz. Since then, he was toured the province twice as an actor and designed and built a permanent outdoor sound sculpture. Studied drum circle facilitation with Arthur Hall. He has studied and played Arabic, African, and flamenco hand drumming as well as improvising and does accompaniment gigs with other musicians. Words, music, and storytelling. Cian has also written many poems, songs, stories, revelations, invention notes, wordplays, snippets, and whatnot. He is currently involved in moving music workshop, the entire school and store at the new location at the corner of Waterloo and Victoria. Looking across the street at the Friendship Gardens in Robbins, new dig starts in May.
So let's give a warm welcome to Sean Jesso. Woo!
Yeah.
Hello, Sean.
Hello.
Oh, you have a mic.
I have a mic. Do we sit down now?
We sit down now. Let's take a seat. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Glad to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
No problem. Let's just start off with, so what about music do you think is an international language?
Well, that's been my experience, getting together with people, and often there is not a language that we can converse in, and yet you can jam all night long, right? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of freeing that way. I think it's maybe just a connection, to how you're feeling and to emotions, and you can share your feelings and connect and notice maybe that other people are on the same page as you. Something I tell my students when we're trying to get a groove and trying to get our drums going, it sounds like we have too many mics on. Is that when we're trying to get all our drums to fit together and to get the rhythms to harmonize, if it's not working, I sometimes just use the metaphor of agreement. It sounds like we're not all in agreement. And when the groove hits, and the bass drum is where it should be, and the bell is where it should be, and the djembes are where they should be, and everything fits, then I say, yeah, we're all in agreement now. And it's a sense of we're all conveying the same emotional story. with the music.
And what is a success story you have about the teaching music?
I saw your notes earlier, and so I started to think about that. And I guess one good success story that comes to mind would be a week of training that I spent. So I was on the receiving end of this teaching, and I had learned a little bit about playing djembe and conga and frame drum, and then I went and studied with a fellow, and his name is Arthur Hull. And he teaches what he calls drum circle facilitation. So he doesn't teach you how to play drums. He teaches you how to use drums in music to work with groups and to work with people. And so as a result of that training, that was a week of training, where at one point we had 300 drummers, and there's nothing rehearsed. You just have to be in the moment, be spontaneous, and work with what you're seeing and hearing. Give out some parts, give out some ideas, and then get out of the middle, because as a facilitator, you can't stay in the middle the whole time. Then it becomes about you and not about the group. So you have to get the groove going and then get out of the middle and get into the circle. And just keep your radar tuned. And when it starts to fall apart or get ragged or people are burning out, or you can tell that they're not all in agreement, then the facilitator has to jump into the circle and pick it up, slow it down, thin out some parts, maybe give it a new part. So that was a real eye-opener for me studying with Arthur, because I didn't realize that we weren't really there too much to learn about drumming or how to play the drum or anything like that. But it was kind of the next step for me. It was, okay, now you know how to drum. How do you use that as a tool in the community? And so I guess I would call that influential training, because it really changed how I go about what I do now when I meet with groups of people. Up until that time, if I was meeting with a group of people, I would often do a drum class and teach everybody how to play djembe or how to play conga or this rhythm or that rhythm. But after that training with Arthur, I realized I could just use drumming as team building, as stress relief. And so now I'll sometimes bring drums to schools and work with 30 kids, or I've had an ongoing gig, as they say, with St. Joseph's Care Group and the Sister Margaret Smith Center. So for probably about 10 years now, I meet with the residential men's groups, women's groups, individuals overcoming addiction, gambling addiction, drugs, alcohol, what have you. And so I meet with every group there, and we do a session on drumming to give that group more cohesion and give them a sense of being on the same page together and in agreement. And it's great that we spend an hour and a half with usually very little talking, getting everybody into their part, and just there's some body language signals that I can use to suggest that people connect with each other, or maybe address the balance a little bit, or take it all down if we're getting a little ragged. So without a lot of talking, using body language, we can get that whole group feeling like a group, musically, metaphorically, without talking. Also, this is great because not everybody's adept in the world of talking. A lot of people are shy. A lot of people have been misunderstood or had their words misunderstood or used out of context. So when we communicate musically, it's a way that you don't have that same judging or self-judging or fear maybe of being misinterpreted, right? We can just get into the groove, get on the same page, really enjoy that.
That's really neat.
So Arthur, in a nutshell, Arthur Hull, the drum circle facilitation training was a successful one for me. And another little outgrowth of that is doing a drum circle on Canada Day at the waterfront. So Arthur's background was as a mime and an actor as well. So his body language is very clear when he's talking to the circle. And the nice thing about communicating with a musical circle with body language is it can be any size.
Okay.
You can be 300 people and you're not yelling out, okay, you guys keep it down, and you guys, it's just all becomes body language. Stop. Okay, ready, and go. Bring them back in.
Wow.
Kind of thing.
So you really learn to communicate with just the drum, just wherever you go, really. That's really awesome. Would you mind teaching us something?
Sure. You two guys, eh? Okay.
We want to learn how to drum.
Sure.
You'll have to put your mics down. I'll bring you a couple of drums.
Okay. You guys get your phones out if you want to learn how to drum. This is probably your chance. Or even just to get a little giggle out of us trying.
There you go. Okay, so first thing you want to do is take off your watches, rings, and bracelets, if it's metal. I like to roll up my sleeves. Not everyone does, but it makes it a little more predictable. And then you pull the drum as close as possible. Your chairs are a bit low for those tall congas, but we're improvising. And then let the floor hold the drum, but tip it away, tip it forward. And I'll just show you the first couple of tones. You're playing congas, I'm playing a djembe, and I'm going to show you the djembe tones, because the 3 djembe tones are the basis of skills that you can take to congas and many, many other drums. So to make your bass tone, it's a firm, flat hand. Your fingers are together, and this hand will be off the drum. And then think of this as a trampoline. Right, let's try 2 of those. How about, try that. And this one. You guys are good. Try this. Don't forget the beat. Keep it going. That's an ending signal. Okay, good. We haven't learned them yet. We're improvising. Good job.
Thank you so much for teaching us. Will you stay with us throughout the program?
No, I have to go.
Oh.
Just kidding.
Okay, good. We don't really have any other entertainment. Sean Jessup will be with us throughout the show to entertain us, like now.
Right now, okay.
Right now, would you play us a little something?
For sure. Here, I'll bring this over and we'll start on the mellow side. This is a type of drum I really love, and a generic term for these kinds of drums is frame drum. So many, many different cultures have frame drums. The smallest ones I've seen are about the size of a donut. They're called a kanjira from India. They have a single brass jingle and a lizard skin. They're wet, they're moistened, and they're very stretchy. And they go boom, 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 boom. And some of the biggest ones I've seen would be Inuit frame drums, huge ones with maybe a caribou hide. This is 22 inches. This is kind of modeled on the Irish Celtic drum, the bowran, but they're not very often would be this big. They'd usually be 16 or 18 inches. So this has some aspect of the Celtic bowran. I've put some of the Indian bells in the back, the dancing bells, so that I get a little sense of people dancing along. And this is just an improvisation to introduce you to different sounds and moods of drumming. It's not always adrenaline-soaked, pounding rock and roll, but there can be a softer side to drumming as well.
That was really neat. Okay, thank you, Sean. He'll be joining us again in a little bit. It's time for our next guest. We are now welcoming Dolores Wewa. She was born in Beardmore nearly 70 years ago and is a member of the Gull Bay First Nations. The eldest of 12 children, Dolores is a respected elder and a member of the Bear Clan. When she was an infant in her Tikanagan, a bullfrog came into the living room to visit her one afternoon. From that time on, Dolores' grandmother said that she would be called Mukikwe, meaning frog lady. Please welcome to the stage Elder Dolores Wewa. Wawe, I apologize. Wawe.
Dolores Wawiye. Thank you. Questions? Do I just start?
Yeah.
Bonjour. I was asked to speak about, can you hear me? I was asked to speak about how elders are made, or how you can become an elder. All cultures are enriched by certain valuable and unique individuals. Such individuals possess a wide range of knowledge that once shared can expand a student's insight towards the perspective of the perspectives of the teacher and so on. I'm just going to speak from the heart. I don't like reading, but I thought that some bits of information is necessary. First of all, elders are not designated by age. You can be at any age. For instance, there's a young man, 37 years old, that became an elder because he works so much with the youth for years. And then others become elders as they mature or grow older. I was designated an elder just several years ago. Another thing about being an elder is that you cannot declare yourself an elder. Never. Just you have to be designated by the community and they let you know somehow. For one thing, in order to become an elder, you have to have a good reputation, and while you're young, you cannot be having any kind of wildlife. You've got to be good all your life. And from there on, people look to you, and then they declare you as an elder. If you had a very wild life, and then you turn around and start doing some good things, you still can't become an elder, because you kind of ruined it by your wild life in the beginning. So I was a goody-goody two-shoes. Not that I was intending to become an elder, I just behaved myself. And then I chose to go into teaching. For the last 43 years I've been teaching. And also I behaved myself as an older person. And just a few years ago, because of my years of teaching and sharing with the people, I was designated as an elder. I was given lots of presents and recognition up on the mountain, and they did a powwow for me. So that was neat. Now, there are different kinds of elders. There are elders who share stories. I'm a storyteller. And then there are elders who are traditional knowledge teachers. They can go around teaching all about traditions. Then there are those that practice the traditions publicly, like smudging and doing sweat lodges and drumming and all those things. Then there are elders who heal people. They're called herbalists. They know all about nature and its healing. One healer said, for every disease known to mankind, that there is, Mother Nature has a cure for it. And like even cancer and all those hard to treat diseases, there is a cure out there. It's just a matter of finding it. And elders will use their herbs to heal people. One of the best medicines to have is the use of bear grease. It cures. And then there are elders who can give names, and they do talking circles, and they work with the public. There's all kinds of different kind of elders. So for me, I came from a traditional line of medicine people. I'm from the Bear Clan, and that's what the Bear Clan does, is healing. My great-grandmother was a healer. My grandmother, or great-great, and then grandmother, and then my mother. My mother was an kind of a new kind of a healer, but she was respected because she worked with the people out in the community. And me being the eldest meant that I too should have become a healer rather than going into teaching. So I do a little bit of that healing as well too with people, with the knowledge that I have. It sort of comes down to you mysteriously. For instance, I was at a beach, and this little boy was this non-native boy was coming out of the water, and had a great big leech hanging down his leg, and his mom screamed, and his dad pulled out his big lighter and was trying to burn it off. The little guy was dancing around faster, and all of a sudden, I took my salt shaker. I said, here, put that on the leech. And they did, and the leech fell off. Now, where did that knowledge come from, I thought, you know? It just came to be. When the time comes, the knowledge appears up here, into here, and so on. So that happens to me lots of times with the healing process. But then I too became a storyteller because of teaching purposes. I've taught anywhere from grade 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then the university level all these years. And stories are wonderful. Each time you tell your story, remember that you make a difference for someone. And I did a lot of that storytelling when I was a young teacher. I thought people need to know more about Aboriginal people. So I visited the classrooms and told stories. And well, one day, about 15 years later, I was at my office coming out. I taught Aboriginal studies at the Faculty of Education. This young girl came running up to me. Oh, Professor Wallier, could you please write a letter of recommendation? I want to teach Native children. I says, why? Because I like them so much. Why? Because I just finished taking your course on Native Studies. Why? Because I was interested and I enrolled in it and so on. Why? I don't know why I kept asking her why. I just kept doing it. And then she said, well, I've liked Aboriginal people ever since I was in grade 2, when this Native teacher came to us and talked to us about Native people and what they do. And she said, ever since that time, I've been wanting to teach Native people when I grew up. And then I said, what school were you at? She said, Sherbrooke. What grade? Grade 2. Well, that was the classroom I started doing my teaching of Native studies, was grade 2, Sherbrooke. And 15 years later or more, this little girl was going through Teachers College and graduating. So then I know that I touched somebody. It made a difference in one little person. Because I used to think with the teaching all these years, am I making a difference? Yes, you might be able to touch one person. So storytelling, it validates our life experiences. And storytelling is an art. Little children tell stories all the time. And then somewhere along the line, we kind of shut them up, I think, because they tell all kinds of fantastic stories. Stories that can't be true, but they're great little storytellers. And later on, they say, I can't tell a story, but everybody has a story to tell, tucked in under their belts. Storytelling is also a valid means of transmitting history. Native people come from an oral history. All our knowledge came down traditionally, orally. When we were little, we listened all the time, so we learned by the art of listening. By the time Native children get to school, to kindergarten, they're already good listeners. And then the other teachers have to teach the other little children to sit down and listen. But Native children already have mastered the art of listening. So we listen to stories to learn about our culture, our history, our legends, everything. Also, we use stories to to correct our children's behaviors. If somebody is being bad, we never tell them exactly what to do and to stop doing it. We have what we know are known as the non-interference rule in our culture. You don't interfere in the lives of anybody. You don't tell anybody what to do, including your children. The Creator gave you your children for a gift, not to mess around and boss around and everything. You provide a roof over their heads, clothing, food, safety. But you let them explore their environment to learn about life. And so we don't tell them what to do. Someday when they decide to come to you at 15 and say, I quit school, your heart breaks, but you pray that someday they'll go back to school or do something. We don't just say, if you don't go to school, you're out of this house. We don't do that. We just accept their decisions. So somewhere along the line, they do come out of it, though, and go on to school and finish. So that's like that with everything. We have to listen to our children, listen to our youth. And also, for the last thing, is that we give advice through storytelling. We never tell anybody what to do. We tell them several stories. They've got to make their own choices. And that's about being an elder, and storytelling does for me. Miigwech, miigwech, miigwech. Oh, you have... Oh, okay. Go ahead.
We did have some questions, but you actually answered them all. So that worked out pretty well.
That comes out through teaching. You tell a lot of information.
She knew what we were going to say before we even said it. I was really interested in what you were saying, but...
Yeah, same as me. She answered all our questions.
Sorry.
No, that's great. Definitely learned something. But would you join us later in the show to answer some questions? Again, if you have any questions, just put them in that box over there, and all our guests will be back at the end of the show to answer them.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
Miigwech, miigwech, miigwech.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I need my water.
Yeah, if you have any questions, just tweet them to hashtag #PoundSwag Nuff Said. #swag Nuff Said. #swag Nuff Said. We're going to ask Sean to play us a little something again, because it was pretty awesome the first time. But you might be wondering why we're all wearing purple. Well, that is in support for those who are living with epilepsy. If any of you were here for the pancake breakfast that we had earlier this morning, that was in support for the bursary we have for Mr. Cody I'm sorry, I'm really bad with last names. Monula. I say it in the deepest respects. He was a friend, a colleague, and a student who passed away March 18th, 2012. So that is for the reason of purple.
Yeah.
Monula. Okay.
Welcome back, Cian, with some amazing words and rhythms. Sean, sorry. I'm really bad with names. As some of you may know that I'm an international student and I'm coming from India. And when I came first over here, that was around 2 years back, the transition period was really tough for me. And we have one student with us. Her name is Gauri Chauhan. She is from India. And we have as well Jennifer Kaplani. She is an international advisor at our college. They are here with us to share some experience of them. So please welcome Gauri Chauhan and Jennifer Kaplani. Hello.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Welcome, ladies. So first question, what was the biggest challenge about coming to Canada?
I guess this one's for you.
Okay, for me, I'm belong to India and Canada is very far. I have to travel for 30 hours, and it was first time I'm going away from home, so it was really difficult for me. And it's a new challenge, new life, and the weather is extreme, different weather. So it was a great challenge for me to survive here. Thank you.
Thank you. My question is for you, Jennifer. What is the biggest challenge with helping the students who are coming?
Well, there's a lot of basic information that our students will require when they first arrive that maybe domestic students don't need, like getting around, using the buses in the city, even information about activities or events or entertainment centers here in the city. So that part is very different. But I mean, other than that, they're a lot the same as domestic students coming into the doors. They need to know how to get their student card and want to go to get their username, password, and things like that as well. And I think you can also relate to arriving here in Thunder Bay.
Yeah, this question is for Gory. Why did you choose Canada? Why come to Canada?
Like I came here, like my course is recreation therapy and I've done my bachelor's in physiotherapy. So I was more interested in community services and I think the recreation therapy will help me for more rehabilitation services and it's a new challenge to get new exposure to the new things and which will help me in the future for my professional life. Thank you.
My question is for you, Jennifer. How does the college bring people here?
Through different ways. So, of course, everybody loves Confederation College. So, some people just call us and contact us and want to come see us. So, sometimes they are directly inquiring and then we'll connect with them, students all over the world. But as we know, here on campus, we have quite a few students from some countries like India and Korea and China, Nigeria, where we actually have representatives or agents working with us. So, we are seeing increased students come from that area, those areas.
This is a question for Gory again. What is your best memory so far being here in Canada?
So far, like the Canadians, you all are very sweet and very sweet people I came across and very helpful. And best memories like the weather, the snowfall. I've seen the first time snow in my life, so it was a very good memories and good friends I got here, good people I came to know, and which helping me to be a good person and is modeling my personality in a new way.
That's pretty nice. Thank you, Gauri.
Yeah.
And thank you, everyone, for joining us. Now, let me welcome Sean, and he'll help us to play some music. Where are you, Sean?
Sean thought he could have a quick break, but I don't know.
Maybe I don't need it. I thought it'd be fun to, we could all learn a song together. The fastest I've ever taught this song is 5 minutes, and I'm allowed 3. So if you guys are like really, really ready for this, we could try it. We've got 4, he says. 4. Okay. So this is a fun song. I'd like to share it with you guys. And you might have heard it before. It's a call and response song that I learned from a teacher from Ghana. And the song is called Achade. Achade means to clap. So when I call Achade twice, I'm asking you to clap twice. Make it a good clap, not like that one. Like, find a good clap, okay? Hands are ready? Okay, so you'll clap each time I go, Achade, Achade. Oh, you missed it. You just missed it. Okay, so be ready. Achade, Achade. Achade, Achade. Achade, Achade. Achade, Achade. Good, that's your instrument, so make it count. No lazy clapping, no fake clapping. Make it sting a little. It's the good pain. Chade, 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 chade. Take a deep breath and go, hey! On the signal, ready? Hey! Oh, guys, you can do better than that. Hey! Make it percussive, make it pop. Hey! Right. You do that every time I say, way, hey! That's you on the hey. Power! Way, hey! Way, hey! Way! Come on, way! Power, way! Louder, way! Unity and diversity. If we pay respect to the music by giving it all. Don't sit back, keep it at arm's length. Say, oh, somebody else will fill in for me. Don't fake it. Participate, jump in, power this thing from your guts. Chade, 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 chade. Way, way, hey, way, louder, way. Try this. Ooh, ah. Ooh, ah. Ooh, ah. Ooh, ah. That's the response every time I say, let me hear you. Ooh, ah. 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 Chade, chade. Chada chada. Chick-cha-way. Ah, chick-cha-way. Rhymes. Chick-cha-way. Let me hear you. Ooh, ah. Let me hear you. Ooh, ah. Let me hear you. Ooh, ah. I can barely hear you. How many of you guys are there? Come on. Sing. I need some power here. Let me hear you. Ooh, ah. Let me hear you. Ooh, ah. Let me hear you. Ooh, ah. Try this one. Maybe this will help. Deep breath. You need some air. You go. Aye. Yeah, kind of like, oh, yay. But not. More like this. Aye. 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 One great thing about music, you can't fake it. You cannot fake it. An actor can't go on stage and just say the lines. It will not move anybody, and they won't get hired. In music, you can't just say the lines. You got to feel the thing that you want to transmit. Maybe that's something to do with why music is a universal language. You got to feel it first. So try and feel this. The sense of this song is celebration, okay? Aye! 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 And one last part to this song, go, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, if you've got all your parts, we'll put this together real quick. You're going to really need to sing your best because you got to keep over the drum now. Remember your parts?
would like to welcome all our guests over here. Let's give a big hand to them. And let's start our question rounds. So, Christine, you would like to start?
Sure. Okay, we're going to start our question period. We have all our guests back. Whoever has the microphone. Maybe we'll pass it around. Okay. Sean, what age did you start playing the instrument? Did you take any classes or learn on your own?
Oh, thanks. I'll try and keep it brief because it's been a lifelong journey. I could go on. It started with pots and pans, and my mom encouraged that. And I probably, when I think about it, it's probably because of that encouragement that I wanted to explore it. I played traditional percussion through high school, snare drum and bass drum, and learned to read music and played in the city band and the school band. I went to Toronto to study recording engineering and got very interested in acoustics and the science of making sound. And I realized that with percussion, I'm actually in contact with the thing that's vibrating. So studying the science of acoustics and being in contact with the drum, with the instruments, kind of worked together to help what I was doing. I was very fortunate. Mamadi Keita is a great djembe teacher, probably the most well-known in the world. He has 20 schools around the world. He came to Canada, spent a week in Winnipeg, and I spent that week with him studying for a week. And then about 10 years later, I spent another week with him in Toronto. I got to spend another week with his teacher, Famadou Konate from Guinea. And I've studied some Arabic drumming with some great teachers, including Glenn Velez and the frame drum. And so definitely lots of teachers, as many as I could get. It's hard in Thunder Bay. So you go to Winnipeg, you go to Toronto, you get the videos and DVDs and the books. And that's how I've done it.
Thank you. I have another question for Gauri. If you could go back to when you first came to Thunder Bay, what do you wish you would have known before coming here?
Before coming here, I was not having much idea about the Thunder Bay. I was just knowing that it has a world largest freshwater lake, Lake Superior, and I heard that it's a very small town, so I was quite nervous, like how I will survive here. But it was a pretty good, and now I'm adjust, so it's good. Thank you.
This one's for Dolores. Why do we offer tobacco when we pray?
Tobacco is one of the 4 sacred medicines besides sage, sweetgrass, and cedar. And tobacco is used in Thanksgiving. If you offer tobacco, say to an elder, you're asking for a favor. If they're going to do the favor for you, they'll accept the tobacco. And then in the nearby future, they'll take that tobacco and release it to Mother Earth in Thanksgiving. So tobacco is used for sacred rituals and that in Thanksgiving.
Thank you. I have another question for you, Gauri. Do you have any advice for the future international students?
Yeah, advice is there. Like when they are here, they are quite reserved and nervous, and they hesitate to be mingled with the other country people. So I think that you should stop being into your own comfort zone. Just come out of your comfort zone and do friendship, meet good people, meet new people, and it can help them to get a good new experience and end up into the good relationship, friendship. Thank you.
We have another question for Sean. What advice would you give to someone who's just starting out in music?
Okay. In a nutshell, one thing I've noticed studying music from different cultures is this thing about practicing and exercises. Seems to be a very Western idea. One thing I learned from African teachers is that just from the youngest children on up, they're just playing music. They don't go home and work on their exercises or their scales. In other cultures, I've noticed this whole idea of you're going to toil away with some mind-numbing repetition. You're going to work at this for a few years, and then you'll be a musician, and then it'll be fun, and then the gates open. I see a lot of people quit music because they don't make it through the years of suffering they think is necessary. So I wrote an article one time. It's called How to Succeed Without Practicing. And the idea is, if you just play music, if you've got an exercise to play, don't play it like an exercise. If it sounds like an exercise, you're teaching yourself to play like a robot. Take whatever exercise and make it musical. Make people want to dance with it. You can turn everything into music, and I think that would be the best approach.
Thank you so much. And I have another question for you, Dolores. What is the significance of Aboriginal name?
What?
The Aboriginal name.
Oh, well, it began a long time ago. Aboriginal names were known to people rather than your ordinary Christian name. And it came from an animal that came close to your Tikanagan, cradle board. And mine came when I was 2 months old. I was born on April 22nd, which is Earth Day. And it took a couple of months before animals came out of hibernation. And then mother was cleaning house. She had me in my Tikanagan, the doors wide open. And little frog came to visit me in the house, straight to my Tikanagan. And so I was named after the frog. I was called Makakikwe. So from then on, I had that name. Today, people live in the city. They don't get exposed to wild animal life other than the two-legged ones. Um, but they ask for an elder for a name. So they get really beautiful names like Dancing Tree or Walks Far Woman and all these different kinds of things. The elder gets these names for them. They're not depending on wildlife anymore. But it's a name that you keep, that you can use when you're working among people. I use Frog Lady for my storytelling sessions. And I'm opening up a Bannock tea house one day, the Frog Lady Bannock tea house, and sell all kinds of different bannocks. So keep an eye out for it. Miigwech.
Thank you so much. We are just running out of the time, but I would like to thank Elder Dolores Pavia, Sean, Jennifer Kaplanis from our international department, and Gauri Chauhan for being with us. And I would like to thank also our lovely audience over here. Thank you so much for joining to us. And I would like to thank who joined us online at camptv.ca. Thank you so much for joining with us.
Yes, thank you so much for coming, and we hope you will join us again on Wednesday, April 9th, when we have our final Let's Talk About show for 2013-14 year. The best of the guests with lots of surprises and an amazing Thunder Bay band, the Green Bank Trio, will be here. I'm one of your hosts, Christine Kleist.
And I am Shashwat. And this has been Let's Talk About Diversity. Have a great day, guys. Thank you so much.